Hello viewers and welcome to another edition of NFL Web TV. I'm your host Samuel Zito, joined today by Ben Haynes from the Montmorency Football Club. Ben, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Well Ben, it's your first year down at Monty this year. Obviously it was an interrupted start of the year with a few injuries. First of all, how was what was the actual reasoning behind your late start of the year and how you're finding it now going into what's coming into some good form for Montmorency?
Yeah, towards the end of last year I started to get some soreness in both my groins, so I went and saw the surgeon at the end of the year and had an operation which probably sort of set me back 6 to 8 months, but sort of now 4 games in, sort of starting to get some rhythm back with my running and everything else. Still a long way to go, but it's just good to be back playing.
Well, from all reports we're hearing as well, is that your form in the last couple of weeks have been really good. You're just building up, and I guess for Monty, it's a likely chance you could be playing finals now. I guess that seemed unlikely about a month ago, but it must be good to just get into some rhythm at the moment. And are you starting to feel more confidence in the body?
Yeah, look, the confidence is probably not there yet. Having missed so much of the pre-season was a battle. Something that probably I've never had to encounter before. But I've probably only done 12, 15 training sessions at max. So I think probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks, that's when I'll probably really start to see some benefit once I get a little bit of that continuity back in my training. So in regards to the club, look, the club's probably been a little bit unfortunate in that a couple of the recruits, myself included, Macca, the player we've got from WA, a few of us have had sort of some big injuries. But in saying that, the young kids that we've brought in have really done a fantastic job, and I think once we get that senior group of players back with these kids, we're going to see some real results.
Well, I guess as you mentioned, missed a bit of the year, but from all reports we're hearing, your leadership around the club has really been noticed, and the young boys are really taking to it. But how hard is it to, obviously you're just a natural born leader, you've done a bit of coaching I believe in the past as well, how hard was it getting to a club and actually not being able to be on the park in the first couple of weeks and perhaps probably a month and a half when you were there?
Yeah, it was definitely difficult. First thing you want to do is when you come to a club is really make a statement and probably a big way. That's the way you train, the way you play, and once that was taken away, it was really hard. But the key was just to keep showing the face around the footy club, and we got through that initial hard period, and now it's just sort of enjoying back, getting around with the boys and playing on a Saturday, and you probably don't appreciate that until you miss such a big part of the season.
The club last year was second after the home and away year and fell away in the finals, lost the first 2 finals and bowed out. And then this year struggled in the opening month, lost the first 4 games and sitting second last on ladder. How did the boys take that? I guess in the past, Montmorency's been such a strong side. How did they take to obviously things not going so well at the start of the year? How was the confidence around the place, and did they remain upbeat despite that hard period?
I think the key for us was the positive approach that the coaches took. I think Fab and Chaz and all the guys down there, their attitude probably didn't waver. Whether we won by 10 goals or we lost by 10 goals, their attitude and the positive belief that they've installed in the players has always been high. We all probably had the confidence that we'd come out of the rut, and we're, I don't think we're out of it yet. We've still got a long way to go, but there is some positive signs there.
Well, they've actually moved into 6th spot on the ladder and just gone about the business pretty quietly actually. Just I think week by week it's gone up that one spot. Now it's 6 wins from the first 12 games, and I guess that looked unlikely after being 0-4. But now just 1 game outside the top 5, and it might actually be percentage outside the top 5. And a really big game this week against McLeod at De Winton. They played that ground really well, won their past 4 at home. A massive game and almost an elimination final at this early stage of the year.
Yeah, it's a huge game for the footy club. We've put some solid performances in the last month, but we just really need to consolidate now, and these are the games that we've really got to tackle hard and make sure we win them.
On the weekend, big game, probably on the field, was a bit of a letdown in the end because you won so easily against North Heidelberg, but obviously a big day for the 2 clubs was the Montmorency Charity Day, where you're playing for the White Ribbon campaign and also Beyond Blue. Obviously good to be a part of, and what did you make of the day and in front of such a big crowd?
Oh, it's just a fantastic initiative by both the footy clubs. I think Matt Salotti from Monty just did a power of work and just made it work. He just it was a great day. Not only fantastic crowd, but just what we could do for the 2 charities in terms of not only money raised, but just awareness for the two charities. Monty had a big lunch, a business luncheon on Friday, which was a sort of a follow on from Saturday. That was fantastic as well, and all in all, it was a really good weekend.
I guess prior to being in the NFL, you last year came from Maryland Park in the EFL, watched a bit of you there, and you had a pretty successful year there, and you also spent some time at Sylvan. Can you just tell us about your work in the last couple of years before coming over to the NFL?
Yeah, last year I spent it with Maryland Park in the Essendon League. A good mate of mine, Mark Bullen, plays there. We had a year there, terrific competition. We ended up winning the grand final, which was a bonus. Had a really good year. They've sort of got off to they actually got off to a flyer, and then they've struck a few injuries, so they're sort of just bubbling away. And prior to that, I spent 3 years up in the Yarra Valley Mountain District League with Sylvan, along with Gary Moorcroft, Mark Bull, and Aaron Henneman, a few other ex-teammates. We went up and played there, which was really enjoyable.
And a bit of success as well. You've been I think 2 premierships while you've been out of the game. Correct me if I'm wrong, might be some more, but obviously you've been a part of a few successful teams. How do you find the NFL standard compared to those leagues you played in the past, and what are the main differences do you find between those certain leagues?
Yeah, look, the Yarra Valley League was a bit of bash and crash. The grounds were fairly small, which was difficult sometimes. The weather wasn't great. The Essendon League is a good league. I think that the pace and the ball movement, and they've been very fortunate the last couple of years being able to attract some good players, not only older players that are ex-AFL, but some good quality sort of ex-VFL or VFL players that are still playing at the moment. The Northern League, look, I've only played 3 or 4 games, so it's probably still early to get a gauge on, but just even talking about Monty, we've got some really, some of the better kids that I've played with. I think, some of the 18, 19-year-olds that we've got coming through are as good as I've played with, so the signs are very positive.
One in particular is James Brooker. He was runner-up in the under-17s Conference and Ferris last year. He's come in, and I think he's played about 8 games in the seniors this year. He's actually the highest vote getter for Monty in the Coaches Player of the Year award. He's just gone straight to senior footy and just taken that step quite comfortably. He's doing fantastically every week.
Yeah, great kid, terrific pace. He actually makes me feel very old on the training track when he scoots past me at 100 mile an hour. But no, terrific pace, nice kid, works really hard, and he's had a terrific year since he's come in. He's really added some depth to our midfield, and to have a kid 18 come in and have that influence on your side, it's just a real big positive for us.
And obviously you spent some time at Essendon in the AFL and also Richmond towards the end there. But obviously Essendon under Sheedy, one of the better coaches to go through the history of the AFL. What was it like working under the likes of James Hird and Kevin Sheedy?
Yeah, it was a fantastic experience. I think if you can feed off those sort of guys and take bits and pieces and try and put it into your game, there's always going to be a positive there. But yeah, it was good to work with Sheeds.
Anything odd that you can mention about Sheedy? I guess he's a bit known for his quirks. Anything in your time which springs to mind that you can just let us know about at the moment?
Oh, he had his moments, Sheeds. I remember a couple of times we'd be sitting in team meetings before games, and he'd be calling Dustin Fletcher Ken Fletcher, and he'd be calling Ty Zantuck Shane Zantuck, and he's got his players mixed up a few times, Sheeds, but he was, all in all, he was pretty good.
I guess he's been around long enough to, I guess, coach their father, so not a surprise there. But also, you spent some time in the SANFL as well, I believe. I think I spoke to NFL board director Matt Pilios before I did this interview, and he said while you were over there you got mistaken for a media celebrity, so to speak, a few times over there. Anything you can shed light on there?
It's one of Matty's running gags, that I've got a look-alike in Tom Petrovsky, who's on ComSec. I just moved across to Adelaide and I was having some dinner, and a gentleman stopped me in the street and he said, "Oh, congratulations on the new post," and I assumed that he was talking about my gig with West Adelaide, and I said, "Thanks for that," and he said, "Looking forward to seeing you on the telly tomorrow night," and I said, "Why is that?" and he said, "Well, you've just struck a deal with ComSec, we're looking forward to seeing you on the TV," so long-standing gag, but Matty's still getting some runs out of it. And
what led you to going across to West Adelaide? You are a Melbourne-born boy. What was the reasoning to go over to Adelaide?
I just think when I got delisted from Adelaide, when I got delisted at Essendon, I was still 25, 26, and still had ambitions to play at the highest level I possibly could, and probably identified the SANFL as being that league. it's a good competition, good standard, very high in professionalism. So went across there for a year. I played at West Adelaide. We didn't have the greatest of years. Team-wise, we sort of won a couple of games, and they were in a rebuilding phase, but they've sort of come out the other end of that now, and they're probably looking to play finals this year, which is really good.
And what was the overriding thing that brought you over to Monty? Was there any connection with you and the club, or was there any reason in particular why you went across to Para Road this year?
My wife and I bought a house probably 4 or 5 streets away, so just wanted to play local. Just thought it's a good opportunity just to walk down and have a kick.
And the goals for the rest of this year, obviously to play finals footy is the main goal, I guess, for the club, but personally as well, anything in particular you want to achieve before the year's out?
Oh, look, just to probably get some continuity in my training, get some run in the legs, and just improve on the year so far. I think I've played 4 games now, so it'd be positive if I can finish off and play the remainder of the games and sort of hopefully have a tilt at finals and have a bit more fitness in the legs.
And it used to be remiss of me to also not mention that goal against Alton. You kicked dying stages of the game, 2 points down, and ball falls in your hand with a minute to go on the left foot from 55 metres, no worries?
I'm very fortunate. I think my eyes closed at that time, but it was a good game. Probably one of the better games I've played in, just in terms of not knowing the result. I think with 5 minutes to go, it was Eltham. 4 minutes to go, it was Monty. It just kept swinging, and it was lucky enough the ball went through, and we had a great win.
It was a good win, and Monty right back in the finals race, taking on McLeod at Whitten Park on this Saturday. It's 10 past 2 rather, so make sure you get down, because as I mentioned, it could well be an elimination final. Monty sitting in 6th spot, McLeod just below in 8th spot, but not too much separating both sides, and both still genuine chance of the finals this year, so it should be a massive game. Make sure you get down, and make sure you're tuning in tomorrow night again when myself and Liam Quinn preview all the action of round 13 of the NFL comp. We'll see you then. Thank you for watching.